Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this live training. And what I have for you here today is probably something that you're gonna like a lot, and you're gonna like a lot because that's to do with carbohydrates and everything. But first and foremost, I want to welcome the people, ladies and gentlemen in the group that just joined. I just made a post in a huge group of insulin resistant, as well as I do all the time in diabetes. And I'm super excited because if you hear this thing going on like bang, 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 that means that a lot of people basically are engaging and want to know more about really what they should be doing with carbohydrates. How much carb do you need? What the type of carbohydrate? Because if you have diabetes, if you have insulin resistance, like I had myself for a very long time, the last thing you want to do is go into those extreme kind of like dieting approach that really forces you to restrict food, to eliminate carbs, and to get to the point that obviously you need to kind of like leave stuff, like you cannot eat whatever you want. And that obviously that's a huge problem. And today, what we're gonna do here, we're gonna educate you, and I guess this is, I was gonna simply, when I made that post, I was gonna simply copy the module inside my mastermind, and I was gonna do that, and I was gonna basically paste it here. But then I realized like we got about 30 comments like in the last 30 minutes. Probably even more. And I said, these people deserve the better. These people deserve me to go live and actually make the guide right now and actually redo what exactly you would want. One of the many things that you will get in my mastermind, you'll get in here for free. So I really want to give to you this for free. In exchange, I really want you to, I want a few things from you. I would like you to really start engaging with the group. I want to make this group the best group of diabetes, the best group of insulin resistance, how to reverse this disease, naturally, without having you to take medicine, without having to cut off carbs, without having to do all those things that you keep hearing that you have to do, because chances are, the insulin resistance is just a problem to a bigger root cause, and the root cause is usually sedentarity, as well as not really knowing what to do, but also weight loss, improving body composition. So we need to dive much deeper in this and talk about it. But I want to make this the best group for this, and you're getting all this access for free. But I need you to engage. I need you to comment. I need you to speak about me. I need you to, when I post, to let other people know, to bring in people that that has this problem, and especially let me know about you. Like most of the group that you see about diabetes, they just ask a bunch of questions just to get more confused than ever, because you would hear very much conflicting information on a daily basis. So instead, just follow something. This group is made in a way, and I will direct you after this live what to do, is made in a way for me to be able to coach you, to me to be able to direct you into the 4 phases that you need to get into if you want to reverse your insulin resistance. Okay, so I just want you to really help me help you. So engage with the group, talk about it, comment, let me know your story, let me know exactly why you got here. Let me know what you need help with, because I can really help you. And I have a mission. I really want this disease, this condition, insulin resistant diabetes, all metabolic condition, to be under control and to understand that you do not need medicine, that you keep hearing that. So let's talk about then carbohydrates, because it's such an interesting topic, and when I made this guide, as I'm gonna share now, I wanted to do something. I wanted to do something particular. I wanted to first. I wanted for you to become problem aware. Okay, and again, you would have to excuse some of my technology. This is a little bit slow, but this is a module again, like in my mastermind, when we have a whole phase of nutrition, weight loss. As you can see, there are at least 6-7 videos about it. And carb, and you need to go in order of consequence, meaning like you would have energy deficit first, anger management, and then there is carb tapering. So carbs is not as important as people want you to believe, because if you watching until today, chances are you've been guiding yourself with this thing that is called glycemic index, right? If you have a low glycemic index, it's a good food to eat. If it's higher glycemic index, it sucks. And this is what you heard until today. Then when you go a little bit deeper, you see that there is postprandial effect of food, which basically says that, after 2 hours after you eat, your insulin would spike pretty high, right? And as it spikes really high, you would see that lactose or milk or dairy has a higher impact, much higher than white bread would have. So as you can imagine, it's conflicting because you don't know really what to eat, right? And then after that, you have the glycemic load. The glycemic load says that you can basically some food, like, because it's the glycemic index plus the amount of carbohydrates. So if you have a higher glycemic index but a low glycemic load, you can still hit them, right? So as you can imagine, it's very confusing. And what I bring this up, and before I forget, not forget that some glycemic index, for example, of bananas changes based on where they're coming from. If they come from Colombia or another tropical place, you would have a different glycemic index. So why am I bringing this up? Because first and foremost, not because I want to confuse people, I want you to realize the problem of confusion that is created in the marketplace when it comes to carbohydrate. So how do you guide yourself? You guide yourself in a way that you understand that there are 4 things that needs to happen. Okay, the context first. Okay, but basically you need to understand that there is amount, there is context, there is type, and there is the timing of carbohydrates. So the amount, you always have to count something. You're not going to have to count necessarily the gram if you don't want, but you're going to have to count something. So you can do it in such a way. For example, you can build a plate, and you can build basically 45 times you eat out of 60. You can build this kind of plate. Okay. And basically, you can start counting things such as bites. You can include 5 bites, 10 bites. And of course, you can start doing that by doing less bites and see how you react on it. Like if you're really taking your blood sugar, much like a lot of you do, I stopped doing it a while ago because I saw that this didn't reflect the overall result at the end. But, as you do that, you should really start doing something with the data. So if you get 5 bites and then you take your blood sugar and then it's positive, meaning like in a sense that is not that high, chances are 5 bites you can include in every type of meal. Or if you see that you're losing weight, I would say better body composition, because carbohydrates by nature is going to make you almost like retain weight because there is a lot of water retention. You're not really retaining fat, it's just water retention. But you would have at some point to start really measuring something. Again, as we move forward, we're gonna go down here and we're gonna see label reading. Like you can start looking, like you can use the fiber, you can take off the fiber from the total carbs, you get a net carb, like you probably heard that before. You could use technically that. You can stock this thing. Like I'm giving you now options that you can use, because I want you to, in nutrition is only one thing that works. You always have to do what works for you. Okay, so there is no such way for me to say, just do this framework and this is gonna work. I'm giving you a bunch of choices and you have to test and see what works for you and then keep that. Whatever works for you, you probably wanna keep that inside your life, okay? Now, as we continue in this, and I'm trying to see if I can slow down a little bit. There's a bunch of things going on here. I just want to make sure that this thing doesn't crash, as the connection is not the best. About the, let's see if we can pick this thing up again. That, and it's slow. I'm sorry, it's really bad. We're gonna talk about the logic. I mean, if you know that you cooking, because a lot of people, it's so funny, they tell me like I'm gonna weigh the food all the time. You don't need to wait. It's like if you know, like you're telling me how many carbs can I have? Okay, just use logic. If you just cook a pan of rice, probably like small pan. Let's make it like you can even weigh it if you want. It's probably gonna be 100 grams of something of that nature for the first time, you eat that several different meals in the day, and then you get at the end of the day that it doesn't spike your blood sugar. Everything is cool. Like, you're not gaining any weight. You maybe even losing weight. Chances are that that amount right now is good. As you move a little bit more, as you work out a little bit more, your body start processing more the sugar. Okay, so like you can add a little bit of that. So this is a discussion that we can go inside when we're talking about exercise as well. So I wouldn't necessarily want to talk about it now. Another thing that you can do on the amount is really reducing a little bit the amount and adding a lot of food on top of that. You can add a lot of vegetable, as you see on the right, is like more than half of less of the calorie, which, by the way, is probably one of the most important concepts you need to understand, that there is always the calorie first, and then you can talk about carbs. You can add a bunch of vegetable in there, and you're going to have a more fulfilling plate. You're going to add more stabilization of your blood sugar, because when you mix carb with something else, with the other macros, you have a lot more stability in your glycemic response. So, and on top of that, you can use small little frameworks such as this. I found this online. I'm going to give all the credit in the world to whom this invented this, because it's fantastic. And it's a way for you to be able to find a way to create service sizes. I don't know who created this. I don't even know if this is official, but it's very good. It's interesting. It's like you can actually make a plate out of this thing, and it's probably one of the most supported things by science. If you are one that likes to use those application like MyFitnessPal and stuff, you can measure the grams. Like I don't suggest it in the beginning, because there is a lot of mistakes in estimation, but you can measure the grams. And again, you do not want to go by this guideline in this way. I'm gonna say that anywhere from 50 or 70 to 150 to the 200-ish kind of grams is where you want to stay, but you would need to find that within time. And again, if you are interested on getting a more deep approach, then I suggest you work with me or get a coach that understand about nutrition, and we can go understanding exactly how many grams you need for you. But there is no such way for you to know that like right away. Okay. Then of course the amount, when you ask me, should I eat broccoli or should I eat this or should I eat that? I mean, understand that all vegetable and fruit are very, very low in sugar, because there is a lot of water in there. Okay, so you might want to use any kind of vegetable without getting too crazy about it, and that's that. Okay, when it comes to carbohydrates, the type, you want to always, of course, choose the complex carbohydrates. Okay, there is a slower release. They're being painting like the devil, but they're not the devil. You need that to process, to make better, to create more muscle, to create better food partitioning. You need this kind of carbs. Fruit and vegetable are not enough. You do need some of this carb. The amount is to be dictated, but again, you do need that. The context is important. You need to understand that at times you hear stuff that are very misleading, such as you need to detox, and then like you get all these juices. Understand that if you ate 10 oranges, which is very hard to do, you probably equal to the amount of the carb that you find inside juice of fruit juice, right? And that means that it's very less satiety. Like you're gonna be more hungry after you eat that, and you get a lot of sugar right away. So obviously you go for full fruit versus the juices, right? And also you go with full fruit versus dried fruit, because you take off all the fiber and the water, and you get a bunch of carbs here, a bunch of sugar, and a bunch of fat as well. There is some fat in there, and again, this is less satiety, less satiation. Okay, so again, the context is very important. Okay, the other thing that you want to understand is that you want to eat carb less. Let's remove this stuff. So if you eat vegetable and protein first and you eat carb less, you're gonna stabilize your blood sugar much better and much faster. So you wanna be eating that less. Okay. The other thing that you wanna be doing is create a mix, create a flexible diet. Okay, that means that if you go, for example, you eat portion control some part of the day, you can still have a slice of pizza. The mix of that is going to first and foremost to stabilize your blood sugar, because you're not just eating carbs, you're eating a mix. and it's gonna slowly release those things. Also, if you think, of course, you need to have a sense how many calories you're eating. If the pizza is a 400 slice calorie, is one thing. If it's 100 slice, is another thing. Okay, so you want to be going, you want to be minimizing those. I'm talking for those that have a emotional eating component, much like I had. You might not want to go to extreme. You might not want to take off all the food that you like. Okay, fruit and vegetable are to be eaten first. And again, it's not a rule, but it's a suggestion. If you eat that first, you're gonna be more satiated. You're gonna create more satiety. You're gonna be full for longer. You're gonna block your hunger a lot. So you can eat that. And I'm not gonna say you eat as much as you want. You might probably wanna eat a lot of. You probably can eat a lot of vegetable as much as you want. You're not gonna get fat of it. Fruit is a little bit different. You wanna be careful with that to not overindulge. We're moving to the type of carbohydrate. The type of carbohydrates is that the only thing you need to know about that, without going too crazy about it, is that if you are eating starches, you want to go with ancient grain of one of these components. Like anything that is like quinoa, anything that is created, like pasta is created from millet, and all those, when you cook, when you want to use those, use those ancient grain first, because they have a much better relationship with your cells when it comes to insulin and when it comes to sugar processing. Okay, so this is you're gonna have a much more balanced reaction when it comes to that. Then when it comes to timing, there is only a few things you need to know in this case. You are more insulin sensitive in the morning because you created a fast when you're not eating. So your carbohydrates you might probably want to consume in the morning much better. Post-workout, absolutely, especially within 1 and 3 hours. And then when you create an eating window, you might want to include your carbs in all the eating window. Okay, so if you do some sort of fasting or whatnot, you might want to include when you eat carbohydrate. Do not make the mistake of starving yourself and then just using keto or stuff like that, unless it's been working for you, unless it's been obviously suggested from your doctor or whatever. You want to include those carbs when you are breaking the fast because you are more insulin sensitive at the time. So with this being said, I hope this is interesting. This is just one module that you would find in my mastermind. But as you said, there is a lot of components that you can use. To understand how to apply this for your life, what is going to work for you, like I said, is very hard to say unless we at least speak. I want you to comment down below Carb Guide. Carb Guide means that I know that I need to reach out to you. We're going to be talking and we're going to discuss your situation. I'm going to give you a few suggestions how to include these carbs into your life. I'm here to serve. Help me, help you, help making this group the best that we have. Because I really want to make an impact when it comes to changing the world, when it comes to diabetes. And I'm here to do that, and I need your help. I need you to level up, and I don't need just you to consume content like you go inside this group and get more confused than ever. Just do something different. Understand that I have the tools to help you. I just need you to help me understand what works, okay? Because without that, we cannot know which of these elements we can include into your daily nutrition. Coach Jerry here. I see you in the next video. Carb Guide down below, and I talk to you soon.